defiance against the province's lockdown order. A Toronto barbecue restaurant reopens to indoor dining, clashing with police and bylaw officers who arrived on scene. Good afternoon. The protest comes amid growing frustration from small business owners.
They call the province's COVID pandemic protection plan unfair, and at least one man vowed to make a public statement about it. CTV's Austin Laney will have more on this story a little later on in the newscast, but he joins us, and actually Austin is here now. Austin Laney joins us now. Austin, you are at Queen Elizabeth Boulevard in Etobicoke with the latest on the drama that unfolded. Of course, this is breaking news, so you're joining us now. Go for it, Austin.
Well, you can see the lineup behind me. These are the fans of this barbecue joint. It's called Adamson's Barbecue in Etobicoke. Last night, the owner of the place, put out a message on Instagram saying that he would be opening in defiance of the provincial rules and have indoor dining. What we're looking at here are the supporters of Adamson's Barbecue. They came here early as well as people who were not supporters, who were worried about the spread of COVID in the neighborhood.
Finally had enough and decided to open their business.
True to the promise to open indoors, diners sat down at 11 this morning and began eating, defying the lockdown rules.
How do you feel about a possible fine?
Can you guys please move out of the way because you're blocking the entrance to my restaurant?
It started last night with this Instagram post from Adam Skelly, the owner of Adamson's Barbecue, saying the location will be open for indoor dining.
So why are we getting singled out and the big multinational corporations are all essential while they're packed? Come on, guys. Enough is enough.
The Premier acknowledged yesterday the lockdown is not always fair.
It's tough. It's tough to balance the health and the well-being of society, because that's the #1 priority, in the economy.
The opening brought out Beverly Bates, whose sister-in-law died of COVID in May.
Healthy, 44 years old, she died. I have 3 nieces that are motherless, and he thinks that this pandemic is a joke.
His supporters say,
I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think small business needs to stand up.
Do you think it's dangerous?
Not at all.
the city issued this statement today. The city is aware of a restaurant promoting their opening in defiance of provincial orders. Should any business that is prohibited to open does so, it will be investigated and appropriate enforcement action will be taken. And not long after the 11 a.m. opening, the police arrived and went inside. And those are the police behind me with the bylaw officers that went inside. I can tell you, I can look in there right now, and there are still people inside the restaurant. There is still a lineup outside the restaurant, and there are still a lot of supporters of Adamson's Barbecue and its right to open up today and serve people inside. They're also saying that they're against wearing masks as well. If you look around the whole group of supporters here, very, very few of them are wearing masks. We'll send it back inside.
For the second straight day, a rogue restaurateur has scoffed at lockdown orders, swinging open his doors, encouraging people to come and sit down and eat inside his Toronto barbecue restaurant. Well, that's now resulted in 9 charges, but not before a scene of epic proportions brought out a whole cast of characters.
So how would you describe the scene behind us today?
A circus.
Barbecue can be messy stuff, but this is a whole different level.
I get to sit at home and protest all day long. Come see me at Doug Ford's house.
A closure order from Toronto's medical officer of health couldn't stop this scene from playing out again today. With Buffalo Springfield blasting from the speaker, restaurant owner Adam Skelly was at the helm of the action.
Please get off of the property. This is all off the record. Out.
We tried again to speak with Skelly today to try and give him a fair shake amid the madness.
Hey, we're City News. Would you like to talk with us?
Off the property immediately. Off the property. Sure. I'm giving you one warning. You're trespassing on private property. Please get off the property.
No problem. Would you like to talk to us? We'd love to give you your opportunity.
Immediately.
His supporters today included controversial Church of God pastor Henry Hildebrandt, who's joined anti-lockdown marches in southwestern Ontario. Magma hat-wearing supporters were also joined by a guy dressed as Santa, who marked his arrival by flipping the media the bird. When asked what his name was, he declined, saying his wife would kill him.
If you are concerned that people could get COVID for Christmas, then why are you here today supporting a scene such as this?
I'm here today to support the business.
Police entered the restaurant just before it opened at 11 a.m., but that didn't stop dozens from lining up and then taking a seat in Defies on the front lawn patio. City officials on scene seem perplexed for a second day in a row, unsure how to enforce the situation unfolding.
My understanding is, why can't we just go lock the doors? Apparently we don't have that authority to do at this point.
I do not direct law enforcement, whether it be the police or whether it be the bylaw people or the public health people that go around and enforce the laws. If you ask my opinion as to whether I'd be getting those concrete blocks out of storage right now and going, if necessary, and putting those in front of Adamson's or any other place that violates the law in that manner, yes, I would.
Just after 1 p.m., police entered for a second time, along with bylaw officers. In total, 9 charges have been laid yesterday and today against the Restaurant Corporation and Adam Skelly by the city's licensing department, medical officer of health, and Toronto Police. The restaurant has been ordered closed again. After many felt he took a soft stance yesterday, the Premier had this to say today.
Buddy, let me tell you something. You need to shut down. You're putting people's lives in jeopardy. I always try to be nice the first time, but this guy is just totally ignoring public health officials. People are dying because of COVID-19, and he just wants to say, forget it, and have everyone down there.
Supporters today on a megaphone were saying that there's a gym in Scarborough that they plan on opening up tomorrow. Now, Adam Skelly, who city officials say has been running this restaurant without a business license. Well, there's word that he might open up yet again tomorrow. I asked Toronto Police today what's stopping him from opening up every single day. They said if he does that, they'll step in. We'll have to wait and see.
But first, this is what's happening right now. We've been telling you about this story of Adamson Barbecue in Etobicoke that has flouted the provincial rules on not opening its shop. Last couple days has offered dine-in. We know the owner has faced 9 separate charges, both at a provincial and municipal level, and this is what has happened just in the last few minutes. Toronto Police have arrived here, a number of vehicles, and it looks like they're looking to block off that main entrance. Here's what we also know. On social media, the owner of Adamson Barbecue has said that he will continue to open up that shop. So it looks like police have taken this into their own hands. This is an exclusive shot. We are the only media here right now to bring this to you. We're just gathering some information on this right now.
And we're looking and watching what you're watching right now because we haven't seen this at all. Good morning, everybody, by the way. And they look like they're boarding it up, right?
It looks like they're boarding it up. It looks like they are drilling through those locks right now because, as we know, again, on social media, Devo, that he's continued to say, the owner, even though he's facing these charges, looking to go to court to face these charges, says, I'm still opening up.
Yeah.
In the name of small business. And again, this is all just developing right in front of our eyes right now this morning. This brings the question. We're going to continue to watch this feed for you to see exactly
there you go.
what
They're
doing.
entering the facility right now, too.
So perhaps they're going to be taking some items out of there. We don't know. Again, we're just learning all this information now. We do have Mayor John Tory joining us in an hour's time. No doubt he's got a lot to say. He's been very vocal on this one. I want to bring in Frankie as well, who is live for us at the greenhouse. So we will be watching this feed for you and gathering more information. But Devo Brown, again, we looked up. Our camera was there just to monitor the scene. And this happened in the last couple minutes.
This was happening right in the spot. And the owner might be waking up right now, or his friends are probably calling him right now saying, hey, this is what's going on. Because you might have no clue that this is happening. But you should have an idea that this was happening. You defied what you've been asked to do for the last couple of days. And I think this is not a surprise, or shouldn't be a surprise to many.
Well, what we've seen, at least from officials, is that you can see they're actually inside right now. That they have said, listen, they've taken a different approach every day. The first day, and even from the Premier, just his tone was different. The first day he said, listen, I understand. We're on the side of small business. We get it. We understand your frustration. Day 2, he had a very severe tone and saying, please shut down. Now we see the charges being laid, but now trying to figure out exactly what they're doing here. So again, we'll be watching this one. Frankie, are you there right now?
Yeah, I'm here, and I've been watching as well this morning. Like Devo said, this is expected that something would happen. We were talking about before they would board up cannabis shops, but now we're boarding up barbecue shops. But it's all in an effort of public health. We do know the reason why the police is there is to protect the public. And right now, this barbecue shop is not really protecting the public. It's putting the public at risk. So that's what the police is doing this morning, trying to figure out ways probably on how they can protect the public, because he's just continuing to say, I'm going to open, and he's not following the rules, the laws.
We've seen a number of people who have attended, who've dined there. No masks, gathering in bigger groups, and so no charges have been laid against anyone who's actually attended, really only the owner. This is really interesting because Mayor Tory had said yesterday, listen, it wasn't up to him, but if it were, what we saw with the cannabis shops, as you alluded to there, Frankie, was that they put those big concrete barriers. You'll remember, right? They did that to block the entrances. Well, we know that there's a different strategy being taken in this one. They tried day 1, day 2, and now this is what they're doing. So we're going to try to get some official information for you on here on what's going on.
Want to understand what they're doing by entering, you know, what they are deeming the reason to enter the property. On these provisions of what's been put down by the health codes and things like that, the health mandates right now. It's just, I don't understand going in to the property. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I would love to get some information on if we get a chance to.
Unless they're going in to confiscate. Yeah, unless they're going in to confiscate some of the equipment and whatnot so that he just can't operate his business today. So they might be going in to confiscate some of those items. And also it's a barbecue, so it's slow in terms of cooking, so preventing them from actually having any product available today for sale.
I think, if anything, this is going to create some more chaos. We saw some of the crowds yesterday, and we know there's been a lot of support for this business, too. So we'll continue to follow this for you all through the morning. Steph, thank you. And happening now, this is a live look where we have been outside of this barbecue joint, Adamson Barbecue in Etobicoke. That shot which you saw right at the beginning, someone in a pickup truck, that is the owner. Who has arrived here. What we know earlier on this morning, that police did arrive. They changed the lock, stopping him from opening for indoor dining for a 3rd straight day, defying lockdown orders as per the province. Police got there again just before 6 o'clock, and our crews happened to be there on the scene for that exclusive footage as they entered that building and changed the lock. So again, the owner there is at the scene and has put out a call for a locksmith and extra hands to help him at his restaurant. Now, 680 reporter Carl Hansky, he has been at the scene all morning long and joins us now with an update on what is going on. Carl.
That is the owner of Adamson Barbecue here at his Etobicoke location. He's here trying to get in. You can imagine he's obviously very upset. He's had some ripe words for us as he came in here this morning, trying to enter his business here that has been shut down. Basically, just before 6 o'clock this morning, city officials, police, and locksmiths came to this location here, went inside the building, and then have effectively removed and replaced all the locks. This place is effectively closed for now. The owner is obviously quite upset dealing with this, but here's what Mayor Tory has to say about it.
We've had our difficulties with this, including the fact that we literally were not able to seek an injunction under the law. The province had to do it, and there were various things like that that just caused the situation to be not as quickly handled as might have been the case, but it's going to be closed today. You can be sure of that.
The city took this preemptive strike because Adamson was going to open for a 3rd straight day, defying lockdown rules. The city and police have said that's not going to happen. It's shut down. The owner's in there. We'll see how long this lasts. In Etobicoke, I'm Carl Hansky, 680 News.
And let's bring in Mayor John Tory. He joins us for his weekly update. Good morning to you, Mayor.
Good morning, Mel.
I know you've been following this quite a bit, and I want to get your reaction and perhaps your direction when it comes to enforcement on what happened here this morning.
Well, as you know, I can't direct law enforcement. The politicians don't direct the police, but I have spoken to the police chief this morning again, and I've been speaking to him very regularly about this, and I can assure you they have a plan. He's informed me this morning. The locks have been changed on the building, as you've seen, and that there's going to be a police presence there also to try and limit the traffic for all the, I think the people who are involved as much as anything in a political stunt, to show up and protest things. And look, protest is a part of what our country is about in terms of its democracy and liberties, but you can't flout the law. If you want to change the law, run for office or go to court, but you don't just open businesses that are ordered to be closed. So we've had our difficulties with this, including the fact that we literally were not able to seek an injunction under the law. The province had to do it, and there were various things like that that just caused the situation to be not as quickly handled as might have been the case, but it's going to be closed today. You can be sure of that.
Do you think that this will set a precedent, so what has happened here at this restaurant, for other businesses to do so? And what is the city prepared to do should that happen?
Well, I think the precedent that people are going to see is that if they decide to thumb their nose at the law, as this gentleman has chosen to do, and to break the law and disrespect all of his fellow citizens at the same time who are following the rules and trying to stop the spread of the virus, if that happens, then the city, through various mechanisms, the bylaw officers, the police officers, the medical officer of health, will act. And I think the vast majority of people wouldn't think of doing this. This man obviously was engaged in, again, some kind of a political stunt. He wants to make a political statement, and he's chosen to do it by breaking the law and, frankly, putting people's lives at risk in terms of the spread of the virus. Did you see the people in there that were wearing no masks with children and so forth? I mean, how irresponsible can you get? But having said that, I think people have seen that the precedent that they should focus on is the one that says the city will deal with this. He's facing multiple charges as well, and I think it's going to be very costly for him. So I hope he thinks it's worth it to have had his 15 minutes, and he's going to pay a big price for that. And you know, the more important thing is that he just acted in a way that was contrary to good citizenship and good corporate citizenship, and that's very regrettable.
Let's talk about all the small businesses that are abiding by the rules right now, and they are struggling right now. And we are heading into a major shopping season. We've got Black Friday tomorrow. All the sales are already out and about. We've heard from Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie looking to public health to say we want to block off in those big box stores the non-essential items from being sold so that local businesses have a shot here. Is that something that you would consider for Toronto?
Well, we've been told by the province it's not feasible. Let's remember the purpose of this whole thing was to stop the spread of COVID-19 and to reduce people's levels of activities. We've been told that kind of, compartmentalizing of areas within these bigger stores is not feasible. We'll keep talking to the province and to our medical officer of health about these things. But the most important thing I think people can do is, talk with their wallets and talk with their feet by not patronizing those stores for Black Friday or any other kind of shopping. I hope those stores do not have Black Friday sales. I think as good corporate citizens, they should recognize there's an unfairness to this, where they're open and some of these smaller stores are not for technical reasons, I'll call it. And I think people really can talk with their wallets by not patronizing those stores for Black Friday or any other day. Patronize local. Go online. Most of the local stores have some online presence, or use the curbside pickup option that is provided for, and we're going to be making some allowances to help to make that happen. But please support the local stores, support the small stores, we'll be in continuous discussions about how we can try to make the system better and fairer, and I'm certainly continuing to advocate for supports, of which there are quite a lot coming through from the federal government and from the provincial government to help these small businesses. They will get, for example, 90% of their rent subsidized by the federal government, and they will get a substantial portion of their wages subsidized. And I know that's not enough, and they are going to suffer, but at the end of the day, we're going to put this nightmare behind us so that we don't have a bigger and longer and broader shutdown later. We want to avoid that at all costs.
Mayor Tory, what do you make of some retailers looking for those loopholes? We saw Banana Republic, Gap, Old Navy selling masks, so those are essential items. They've said that they're not opening their doors here in Toronto where they were previous. What do you make of some of these retailers looking for those loopholes?
Private enterprise is about trying to find ways to stay in business and do more business and all the rest. I'm disappointed, frankly, because these are big, reputable corporations, and they've now ended up doing the right thing, but only after they were caught, as it were. I mean, the notion that you would say, well, I'm a clothing store, but because I sell masks, therefore I'm going to be in the category of essential is pretty laughable. And I hope corporations out there, as the vast majority are doing, will apply what I call the hee-haw test. That if anybody could start to laugh at you for trying to argue that you're an essential store, that you'd realize it's best not to open. But they've ended up doing the right thing, and I suspect the vast majority of stores out there, big and small, are doing the right thing. And I know it hurts. It's awful. It's awful to have to sit and be part of these decisions to close these things down. But in the end, we're trying to stop the spread of this virus. We're trying to keep the schools open. We're trying to protect seniors in long-term care. And so that's what we'll continue to do. And 28 days will pass by, not without pain, and then hopefully we'll be in a brighter place come the other side.
Finally, for you, I want to end on something positive, and that is we're looking to this winter plan. Everyone's looking to go outdoors because that is the safest place to be. The City of Toronto opening of a lot of rinks as of this weekend. I asked you this last week, actually, if Nathan Phillips Square was going to open, but it's going to do it, but with capacities.
Yes, we found a way to do this, and I'm very, very glad we did, because we were not relishing having to tell the people that they couldn't go skating. But it will be different, like everything else, like Christmas, like Thanksgiving, the rink when the weather permits. And we started to make the ice, but it really does count on the weather. And I saw Frankie saying that, you know, the weather was a bit above freezing. It has to be near or below freezing. But we're going to open all the rinks, and we're going to hopefully have as many open by this week as possible. But there will be a restriction of 25 people on, say, these rinks at a time. They'll be asked to keep their distance. They'll be required to wear a mask. And they will be asked to make a reservation through toronto.ca so that you don't have a crowd scene of people standing around waiting to get on the rink. So it'll be different, but the rinks will be open, and a lot of other stuff too. We have all kinds of new snow loops in the golf courses where you can do snowshoeing and cross-country skiing. We have all kinds of trails through the parks that will be plowed that haven't generally been plowed during the winter, doubling the number of washrooms and all kinds of things to allow people to get outside with their family members only. In other words, family members that they live with, to try and enjoy the winter and get some fresh air and not have their mental health be badly affected by, being cooped up and not able to go too many places.
Absolutely. And we know the washrooms, that was a big discussion. In fact, we had that one here on BT. Mayor, as you always do, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Please do stick around, because Devo Brown has a question for you.